Hey there. Today we're going to be looking into campaigns, and specifically running campaigns in LinkedIn. Now, transparently, it wouldn't be too difficult to do this anyway with the current, let's say, messaging workflows that have already been built out. The only thing is you would have to create a different lead list for every single time someone wants to be in a campaign. So you'd have to have lead list campaign hello, another lead list for campaign world. And as you can see here, I've done lots of testing. I've got 3 different campaign tabs here. I've got like first message all the way up to like third message down as well. I think I've got even more. Yeah, I've got up to number 5 here. So I've been testing how this can be done in the simplest form, because ultimately what I want to be able to do is I want to go, okay, this person is on this campaign, and I just add like a little tick box to the thing. So if I go in here, for example, and I just select, okay, they're going to have an additional status, whatever that status is. They have multiple statuses, and then this will allow them to go through the system or go through a workflow. And unless they have that, they won't go through the workflow. So there'll be like some if node at the start, which will allow that. So we're going to run through how it's developed to see where it's at now. There's still obviously further development happen on this, but I thought an update video on what's going on with A/B testing and campaigns would be prudent, and also to see if there's any feedback or other ways this could be developed further, if anyone else has some interesting ideas. So let's jump in. So what we have first is, this is where I started on I try to do everything at once. So A/B testing and campaigns. This is obviously, basically, this is as if you were sending out 8 messages in one go, which is like some predefined messages with the first one, or an AI written message. Again, 2 different types of campaign messages here. And then we've got if this, then it's got a campaign. So selecting the campaign and then selecting if it's A or B. And then again, you could have different prompts in these AI agents. So then it's sending different messages to people depending on the AI prompt you give it. And then, of course, we have further developments down here. And again, the different messages. In reality, you could times this up to 16 or 32. You could have as many messages as you want going out at a similar time frame to certain groups of people. But ultimately, it starts to get a little bit messy with how this is running, how it looks, and just how it works in your mind. You can see here, I've got A/B testing for here. I've just done that. I've also put a no, so that if I don't want them to go through the system, I've got a no or an NA here. So that can make sure they don't actually end up in the system should they not need to. And then, yeah, hello world for the different campaigns that I was talking about. And my idea was initially is, okay, I'll just select the messages that they want them to get to. But got a little bit more complex. And so the next part is, I was like, okay, let's just do the A/B testing for now. And A/B testing is obviously incredibly easy. It didn't require much thinking. It was more just a matter of putting it together. So, if no, if A, B, and then obviously A goes up top, B goes down bottom. Simple as that. They get a different message. So you'll have this one, it'll pull the first message. That's saying first message 2, and then this one here, and that's saying first message 3. And then that way you're knowing, and then it updates them to first. The only issue is this, is if you're doing it this way and it's updating them to first, let's say you've got a sequence which follows first, second, third, and so on. You would need to create first message 2 and then second message 2. Same with third message 3 and then second message 3. So again, not that complex, relatively straightforward, but something to note. And that's how the A/B testing would work, really straightforward. And you would just update these messages accordingly, and then you'd obviously have to update in here what's going on accordingly. But then, as mentioned, I like the idea of getting all of these messages pre-done, having everything organized, as many as I need. I can obviously hide some, as I've done here, as you can see here. But also being able to choose which one I want just by typing something into this section here. I don't want to have to manually go into here to then find out which one's going into where. I just want to be able to do it from Airtable. And actually, I want my clients to be able to do that as well. If they want a certain client or certain person, prospect to be sent a list of messages or a sequence to get them onto a workshop or get them to an event, podcast, whatever you name it, they can easily do that. I don't want to have to be doing that manually or for them all the time. So this is what led to the campaigns. And campaigns, I decided, I was like, wait a minute. How about if I just choose from one tab? Okay. I mentioned we've got the campaigns tab here, and I've got 2 others as well. Here we are, the hidden tables. I was like, what if I input into here, these are all the people that I want to get sent the workshop sequence. And I only want to have to set up one database so that it all gets sent the workshop sequence without having to set up 3 different messaging sequences. It'd just be really straightforward. And then I could also choose which message they're going to receive. So again, campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3. And so you could, again, this allows you to have multiple campaigns running at the same time. All you need to do is just copy the database over and then just put in the people that you want to be sent that campaign. And I'm going to start from the bottom because the top one I actually did last. The bottom one, campaign 2, is just A/B testing. So here, A/B, are they actually someone I want to get through? So in this case, I've said like only people who are A are going to go through. You don't have to have that. It's just purely like giving it another one. Then I've sort of said I only want people who are getting the hello on one side and then the world on the other side. So then they'll get their first message 2, and then first message 3. So pretty straightforward. I've also put the option, so let's say, for example, I wanted them to get an AI written message, like personalized message. I could put that down there and it grabs their posts and then it'll do an automatic message based upon their posts. So this is like multiple ways you can have this running. And obviously this is just pretty much the A/B testing. Anyway, then we've got the campaign 3. So again, this is all running on one workflow. And in this case, it's purely just sending the people that are in the list a AI written message. And it may be beneficial to have, in this case, sometimes these people in separate lists so you can see who's actually having a positive impact on, because you would obviously set up a check and reply automation so that it would check if these people are actually replying, it will check the success rate of connections, it will check what's going on essentially. You'll have this all done. And then you could see, okay, is A or B getting more responses, or is this AI agent, is the personalized replies getting more responses? What's actually having the biggest impact on your business? I'd say the most different is you could do is have one going through the normal and then one running through an AI agent. If you really wanted to see if something was working or not. Then we have the campaign 1. Now, campaign 1, I wanted to be a little bit more, as mentioned earlier, I wanted to see, okay, can I send multiple messages to the same people on one workflow? Because ultimately, they've got 3 different messages, so connection message, first message, and then second message. But this could be done in any format. If you wanted to have introduction to podcast message, hey, we want to be on my podcast message, hey, last chance to be on my podcast message, these kind of things. You'd have your podcast message 1, podcast message 2, podcast message 3. Same but different. Same for workshops. Here's my workshop. Do you want to join? It's on X date. Hey, it's 1 week until my workshop. Come and join. Hey, my workshop is happening tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you there. Same thing, different story. And so here, it's going through the standard procedures, 4 items, and then I've just got a type. And what I've done in here is I've got the status of each one. And I've basically said, okay, is it saying connected? Is it saying first message? Is it saying second message, third message? So I'm using the statuses to divide them out. And so you can see here, I put them into the various statuses. And then this allows them to go into each one. So in theory, I obviously need to test this. They would go up here and they would get the first message. And then we would need to set some sort of delay in between. So I've actually got the delay here. So if it's been 2 days since their last action, I would just put this in. I would probably put it right at the very start, like right here. And that way, anyone who just had a message like today or a second ago won't go through it again. So they'll get automatically updated, and it will use the update record, update time here. Over here, you can see that. So the moment it gets updated, it will do that. And then obviously then it would update the first, second, and third. And again, you would set these up so that you can have them running as you want. And then this way, look, let's now say that we want someone to get a podcast message sequence. Let's just really quickly just fill this out. Let's just say, okay, I'm going to just change this to podcast. And actually what I'm going to do with this as well is I'm going to edit this field and I'm going to change it to multiple select. Say, there we go. Brilliant. So there we are. So that's not multi-select again. So I think this is quite convenient for filtering them out. And so we're going to go over here. And let's just pull this through. And I'm going to change this to if podcast. And let's say podcast. All right, so we drag that over and we now have the podcast in there. And so obviously we can see that one of them has come through and the rest are false. And so then let's just amend this. So then we pull that through, get them through here. Bum. And they would go through. And so then very quickly, I would have a podcast system set up and they would go through this thing. So here I'd have a separate, perhaps even a separate one. So these ones would still go through here. This one would go into another workflow over here, which would be the podcast system. And it would, again, I'd always have this if 2 days, if 3 days here, because you don't want to be spamming people. If they've already received a message a day ago through something else, or 2 days ago, you don't want to be getting that. And transparently, you probably want to set it up longer for a campaign. Like a campaign, you probably want to have this set to like maybe a week, maybe 5 days, because that could be not the best for your likeness. And then what I've done here as well is, you may have noticed, is it has 6 items and there are actually only 5 in here. So what it's done is, annoyingly, it's created, and this is a problem with Airtable's API, is it, for whatever reason, does sometimes create false identities. So you'll see here, I've got 2 in this empty section, and these are, they've got nothing there. So they're empty leads, and I'm just going to delete those. So they're basically just causing clutter. So sometimes, for whatever reason, it will do this, even if there's nothing causing them to be pulled or created. But when they are there, it just does create issues. And so I just find it's better just to get them removed and then not really worry about it, because otherwise you're going to have issues in the future. Cool. Now I'll delete it. And you can see it's got the other 2 items, and then it's got the people that will be sending to those. And then it will go through. So now if I press play on this, it should only have 5 people. So this is the state of where it is so far. My intention is to simplify this even further and create a system whereby in a lead list, so if you have a lead list and you want it to get a set campaign, I will have the campaigns, have these set up as multiple selecting. So then if you wanted to go through a campaign, you just have to link it up to the one you want, and then it will have them done. For example, be on the podcast, come join my workshop, come attend my events, whatever campaign you can think of that is relevant to you or your clients. Anyway, looking forward to hearing what you think. Happy to answer any questions. And yeah, this will be hopefully coming soon once I've done some further testing, and ironed out any potential bugs and made it as simple as possible for everyone. Thank you.